Hello everyone, Solus Scientist here again. So last week, we finally got our hands on the new Face-Off multiplayer mode and the first of 5 new story operations. Like many of you, I've been sinking most of my time into the new story op because I knew I wanted to make a video about it as soon as possible. However, I wanted it to be accurate and consistent with the type of content I take pride in making, so I'm sorry for the wait, but I hope you'll see it was worth it. Welcome to a comprehensive look at the structure and rewards for Battleborn's first story operation, Attikus and the Thrall Rebellion. Shortly after Nova begins the simulation, your screen will look like this, minus all the added text, of course. The first thing you should notice is the small yellow box at the top of the screen. That is how many ops points you currently have. The entire mission revolves around that number. The first time you play, you'll start at 0, and every time you complete the mission, your starting amount will increase by 5 to a maximum of 50. Difficulty scales with both ops points and the number of people you're playing with, so the more you have of both, the more challenging the mission will be. If you're playing solo, your initial amount will reflect your completions alone, but if you're playing in a group, the person with the greatest amount shares that with the team. However, while playing solo, if you find the mission too challenging, you can speak to Nova at any respawn point to reset your ops points to 0. The maximum number of ops points you can obtain in a single mission is 50. You obtain these in 2 ways. The first is by completing side objectives, and the second by finding them in boxes. Each time you play the story op, you'll be given 4 side objectives, one alongside each primary objective, which reward 10 points each. The remaining 10 points can be found in 10 boxes scattered across the map in 20 possible locations. Next, I'd like to turn your attention to the red and blue arrows. The red arrow indicates your primary objective, or what you need to do to progress in the mission. The blue arrow indicates your randomly chosen side objective. The side objective is always more important because that is going to be your most reliable way to acquire more ops points. Should you fail the side objective or don't complete it before the primary objective, you will lose out on those 10 points. During the simulation, the map will look like this, but I found it more helpful to divide the map into 4 sectors to better explain what you'll be doing and where. Sector 1 spans from where you begin in the bottom right of the map to the red line. Here, you'll be given 2 primary objectives and 2 side objectives. The first primary objective is to destroy 2 jamming towers so Attikus can send in a rally beacon. The second is to defend that beacon until Attikus can join you in the fight. Sector 2 is within the red lines. Here you'll meet Sister Arya for the first time, after which she will promptly leave and send a bunch of guys to kill you instead. Here, your primary objective is to defeat her forces, but you'll also be given a 3rd side objective. Sector 3, within these red lines, is where you'll fight your way uphill. Your primary objective here is to breach the tower where Sister Arya is holed up. Again, you'll be given a side objective, and this will be your 4th and final one for this mission. Sector 4 is this final area of the map where you'll confront Sister Arya. She will summon pylons periodically to restore her shield, much like the Conservator encounter in the Void's Edge summons other Varelsi to make it invulnerable. Destroy the pylons like you would those Varelsi before her shield is restored, or she will explode. Now, I don't want to spoil the details, but suffice to say, this encounter is, in most circumstances, no walk in the park at higher difficulties and with more players. There is one silver lining though. Defeating her isn't like Rendane where you have to rush to pick up everything because there is a treasure room of sorts off to the side you'll have access to. Both Attikus and Nova are there waiting for you, so whenever you're ready to end the mission, just speak to Nova. So essentially that is everything you need to know about combat, but even if you follow all of that, you will still come up short by 10 points. For these you will need to go on a treasure hunt. Don't worry though, I have the map. I did not make this image, but there is a link to where I found it, plus a similar link in the description box below, so please check those out. I think that will be easier than pausing the video until you find all 10. One thing to keep in mind too with these boxes is they will only appear if there is a point inside. Now if these potential locations look familiar to you, they should, because all 20 locations are located in sectors 1 and 3. In my experience, sector 1 usually has 6 or 7 points, and sector 3 has the rest. When you open up one of these boxes, you will see the unmistakable ops point inside, but just for reference, this is what it looks like. Now with all of that being said, you should now be ready to take on the story operation, but how do you know what kind of rewards you'll be getting? Now that, I think, is a great question. You like spreadsheets, right? Please say yes. Now there will be a link to this in the description box below so you can review it at your convenience and don't feel like you have to pause the video. I will be skipping over some of the finer details, and reading a spreadsheet verbatim is not exactly fun to listen to. You may notice columns that indicate the minimum number of required completions. The corresponding cells indicate the fewest number of times you would have to complete the operation to receive that specific reward, as though you are starting from your very first playthrough at 0 ops points. You may find this information to be useful if there is a single particular reward you wish to obtain, but I will not be mentioning these numbers in the video. Now then, each of the current 28 characters have 2 unlockable skins. The first is obtained with a final score of at least 40 points, and the second is obtained with a final score of at least 85 points. Oscar Mike, Attikus, and D'Andy each have 1 taunt that can be unlocked. Complete the operation as each of the 3 with a final score of at least 50 points to unlock their respective taunts. There are a total of 8 unlockable titles. 4 of them are based on your final score alone, with each being awarded at 25, 50, 75, and the maximum 100 points. If you have any experience with Shane and Aurochs, you may recall that Shane thinks that she and Aurochs are teen detectives, and Aurochs vehemently disagrees, but if you complete the operation as Shane and Aurochs, you will unlock another title. Attikus may accompany you for half the mission as an NPC, but if you or a teammate complete the operation as Attikus, you will both unlock an additional title. Attikus is not the only main character though, so completing the operation as D'Andy, Umbra, and Oscar Mike will net you another new title. Finally, the last one can be earned with a total of 10 completions of the story operation, regardless of your final score. The final set of rewards are commander packs, and I think this section is the most important. First of all, there are 5 commander packs you can earn with a final score of at least 60 points. For example, your first 60-point completion as any Eldred will net you the Eldred Commander Pack, and this pattern applies to the other factions as well. Beyond this initial limit of 5, you can earn Commander Packs in perpetuity every time you complete the operation with a final score of 100 points, and the pack you will be awarded corresponds to the faction to which your character belongs. Now remember, Commander Packs have a guaranteed skin plus the chance for a taunt. Now, the skin or taunt you get may be a duplicate, which will give you 500 or 1,000 credits respectively. But in addition to cosmetic items, Commander Packs may also contain epic and legendary gear items. And speaking of legendary gear, the operation has at least 1 new legendary boss drop item. So, for those of you looking for a challenging PvE raid-like activity, story operations may be exactly what you're looking for, but not necessarily in the form you're accustomed to. And finally, with all this being said, I now declare you fully prepared to take on Battleborn's first story operation, Attikus and the Thrall Rebellion. If you enjoyed this video, or perhaps you found it to be informative, please be sure to leave a thumbs up. In the comment section down below, please feel free to share your thoughts, opinions, and impressions about the story operation. And finally, if you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing for more weekly Battleborn content. So until next time, thank you very much for watching.